Welcome back, everybody. This is Antoinette with Bits of Banter. Today, we're going to talk about episode 8 of Love Island USA, and there is a lot to get into. Lots of mess. So let's just get into it. Episode 8 starts off with the girls talking about the dates with Nicole. Talking about how she went on a date. Nicole's a bombshell, talking about how she went on a date with Cordell and Kendall. And she told all the girls that she kissed both of them. And Andrea also told the girls that whose other bombshell, told the girls that she kissed Rob and Aaron. Leah looks like she's really on edge. Like, she does not look well. She looks upset. She looks like she's trying really hard to hold it in. I'm proud of her because she's had a hard time holding it in, honestly. After that, we get to the part where Kendall ends up having a conversation with Hannah. And honestly, I just feel like it's been pretty obvious that he doesn't like Hannah, you know? And he's telling her, he's like, oh, I'm not, I like, who is it that he's like, I like Nicole, but I'm not giving up on us. I just it would do us a disservice if I didn't pursue this. Which, I feel like this is just kind of like a soft blow for her, even though I do believe he should just tell her that he's not interested. Even before the incident of her kissing Hakeem, which was messy, that she shouldn't have done that. But even before that, I don't feel like Kendall was that into her. I think they had some sexual chemistry, but he was not, what's the word for it? He was not fully invested, to say the least. He was not fully invested. So when Nicole came, he was just really excited. You could tell he was really excited. And then, so that's Kendall and Hannah. Then there's Aaron, who went on a date with Andrea. And he has a conversation with Kaylor. And Kaylor's obviously upset. Tears are coming down. She's just like, I just want to know how you're feeling about me. She doesn't feel like he's really giving her the reassurance that she needs. And Aaron's saying he's like, I want to get to know her, but I'm still obviously invested in you, which I do believe he's still invested in Kaylor. I think he's unsure, especially after Kaylor did, what episode was it? Did that whole kissing thing with, instead of choosing him in that challenge, she chose someone else, which Hannah and Kaylor were messy for that, honestly. If you like somebody and you want, you should have just chose your man. So in a way, I feel like Aaron is trying to maybe not get back at her, but not be blindsided again. And so he's trying to keep his options open. But he ends up saying, which I felt like, what the hell? He ends up telling her that, well, you guys are very different, but Andrea has her head more screwed on than you. What does that even mean? And then he says he doesn't feel that, yeah, I don't know. She said, she doesn't feel like he likes her or tells her how he feels, which I do feel like he did. And I don't know if there's some stuff that we're missing, or maybe they're just clipping together a few times he did. But I feel like Aaron has been pretty vocal about how he feels about Kaylor. Maybe since that challenge incident, he's been taking a step back, but I'm not sure. But otherwise, I'm glad Aaron was truthful with her, but I do feel a little bit what do you mean Andrea has her head screwed on more? And knows what she wants, which you've just met her. So I don't think you know that much about her. I think he's pretty much saying he doesn't feel like Kaylor knows what she wants. Sorry, guys. I got to get some chapstick on these lips. I love this stuff so much. Okay. So then we go to Rob and Leah. Leah's really trying to hold it together. Bless her. So Rob and Leah have a talk. And Rob tells Leah that him and Andrea kissed, and that he still wants to pursue both of them. And he said pretty much all the guys are saying the same thing. I would be doing myself a disservice if I didn't pursue both of you, if I didn't explore this, which I mean, agreed. But like, I don't know, did they get together? And it's just like, did they get together and start to say, this is our lines that we should say? So then Leah is being pretty chill about it. What I hate is Rob ends up saying, you're so cool. And she's like, what? He's like, because you just get it. Like, that's not common. I don't know. It's giving like, you're not like the other girls, but he just feels like she's so cool because she's not freaking out. And I don't know. It just felt like a weird comment to make. And Leah, obviously in that moment, like she wants to scream, she wants to not be cool. But after that, she's like, okay, and walks away. Yeah. So with that, I don't know. Like, I feel like this whole episode, Rob is just kind of icky. And Leah's Leah. I do think she's a little dramatic. She obviously put all of her eggs in one basket, but like Rob is definitely being kind of icky. We'll get back to that. So Kendall tells Nicole that he's feeling her, which we already knew. And Nicole just seems really enamored. I really feel like she's going to end up picking him, honestly. What else is there? I don't know. Leah's talking to the girls and some of the guys, and she's like, I feel like I'm so chill. And I mean, you're not, Leah. You're not chill. Sorry. I don't want to be the one to tell you that, but you're not chill. And I don't know, she's like really stressing out because Rob and Andrea are up in Soul Ties cuddling. And later on you find out they were up there for like 2 hours, which I was like, okay, that is pretty disrespectful. But pretty much like she's talking to all the girls, and Liv ends up trying to hype up Leah to go talk to Rob and interrupt Rob and Andrea's conversation, which I was like, girl, don't do it. Like, Liv is not your friend. I mean, maybe she is your friend. I don't know. But honestly, that's not a good idea. It wasn't a good idea. She did it, but it wasn't a good idea. She should have stayed chill, honestly, because she goes up there, confronts Rob, and then they end up having an argument. And he ends up saying, he pretty much is like upset with her. He's like, you've been calling me a con man all week. And he pretty much tells her, he's like, I'm not done pursuing you, but I do feel like, I think you're beautiful and all this stuff, but I feel like I don't know if you're right for me, which I was like, okay. And he pretty much, what did he say? He feels like she's always cutting him off, which hurts his feelings because he doesn't talk very much, which I mean, yeah, he's pretty honest. I mean, not to be like this, but he's pretty boring. I don't know if he doesn't talk that much because he probably doesn't really have much to say. I don't know. That's kind of what I'm getting. He just doesn't have that much to say. But yeah, pretty much he says like that's hurting his feelings that she cuts him off. And then also that he pretty much doesn't feel like they found their sexual groove, which I don't really know what that means other than I'm not that sexually attracted to you. Cause I mean, they've been kissing. I mean, when Liv had coupled with, he was like doing all these sneaky things, going to kiss her in, like making these like signs to try and go and hide out to kiss so they can kiss each other. So it seemed like they were having some sexual chemistry, but I feel like Rob is coming up with excuses, and he's just trying to say that he likes, what's her name? He likes Andrea more. He has more sexual chemistry with her. And then he gets so dramatic. This is honestly, I'm like, what is going on here? He gets so dramatic. He's like, walks away, hides behind like some corner where there's, I don't know, behind some corner where there's some like leaves and plants and stuff. And he's like crying, which I don't believe it. I don't believe that he's crying. It looks like he's trying really hard to be emotional. Then he goes back to Leah and to talk to her. And he's like, well, Leah said something about how she feels. She's like, I've just been crying. Aren't you going to ask me how I feel? I'm like, dude. I mean, you guys are having a conversation. She did say, are you okay? She did ask. Then she said her feelings. And then you're like, oh, pretty much you were hoping that because you were crying, the conversation would be over. At least that's my opinion. That's how I'm taking it. You're hoping the conversation was going to be over so that you could just move on. And she wanted to continue to talk about her feelings. So then he's just like, I just got to go. I got to go. And then he jumps in the water and hides under the pool deck. And I'm like, dude, be so for real. Be so for real. Like, honestly, check, please. Like, get out of here with this fake tears and hiding. I'm like, who are you, dude? This is not a Lifetime movie. Like, what is this? That was honestly just weird. That was weird. I don't know. Yeah, so he's hiding under there. He does end up at some point coming back up for air. Everyone was looking for him, whatever. So then Rob ends up talking to Andrea after he comes up for air. He ends up talking to Andrea and he's like blaming Leah, being like, oh, well, you know, she never asked me how I was feeling. I was crying and she didn't even care. And he's saying this all while smiling, honestly. He has this little smirk that makes you just feel like, I don't believe him. I don't trust him. He wanted sympathy. And now he's telling Andrea, like, she didn't even care. I was crying. And she was just talking about her own feelings. And then he even said that to the guys. I'm like, dude, like, stop trying to turn this on Leah. I'm not saying Leah's perfect, but I just feel like this just felt really, it just felt really nasty, you know? Then I just feel bad for her. Hannah ends up talking about how Kendall doesn't even touch her anymore, like even kiss her anymore. I'm like, Kendall's just trying to drop you, girl. And every time I see Hannah without makeup, I'm like, not that, you know what, hey, I'm not a big makeup girly, but I have no problem with people being big makeup girlies. I just feel like the makeup that she puts on is too much for her. I mean, obviously, if she likes it, she likes it. There is going to be a man that loves that for her. You know what I mean? That loves all her makeup. There's always somebody who's going to love that. Like, and the type of makeup, like my fiance, he's like, he doesn't care what I do. So whatever. It doesn't, like, he just likes what I look like, whatever I do. But I do think there's someone for everybody. I personally think that, like, if she put on less, it would be better, because she's a really cute girl, and it's like, I don't know. I feel like it just doesn't, makeup's supposed to, at least in my opinion, it's supposed to accentuate your features, accentuate your beauty. And I feel like it just more like covers it up. Like when she's just barefaced, it's like she looks even prettier. And then she looks just so different barefaced from makeup, whatever. That tangent, it doesn't really matter, but like, I just feel like she should put on less. Not that has anything to do with Kendall. Like, and then Serena, like that night, ends up, because Leah's crying about everything that happened. And Serena's a good friend. She pretty much was like, I'm going to sleep with you on the soul ties beds, which I felt like that was a good idea. Like, there's no reason. I mean, maybe she should have slept in the same room with Rob, maybe not. I feel like Rob would have tried to kiss her, and I think she was also trying to protect herself, which I get. And I felt like Serena was a really good friend for that. What else? And okay, so Serena now likes Cordell. Girl, stop playing games. Stop playing games. She's telling Jonna that she likes Cordell now because he's given her space. And I think it's one of those things where, like, other people are showing him interest. And I think we've all done this before, where there's been a guy that, like, we haven't really been that interested, or even, like, as a guy, there's a girl that you haven't been that interested in, and then all of a sudden other people are showing interest, and then now you're interested. I think that's kind of what's happening with Serena. I don't really think that she's that interested, but she's also like, it also feels like game. She's like, oh, he gave me space, so now I like it. Maybe he was being too smothering. I don't know. Like from what I saw, it didn't feel like that, but that's from what, we were seeing. Maybe he was kind of really on her. And then Hakeem pops back up and I was like, oh yeah, you're there. I literally forgot about, like, Liv and Hakeem. I like forgot that they are there. Like they're so a non-factor right now. It's like, just telling it how it is. And Hakeem ends up pulling Nicole for a talk, and they're like having some good banter. I don't know. I think it's pretty obvious that Nicole's like not that interested in Hakeem, but he's shooting a shot. Can't blame a guy. Then Rob ends up pulling Leah for a chat, and I don't know. There's somewhere in this conversation this next day, I can't remember exactly what he said, but it just like what I wrote down was he's basically saying he doesn't want you. That's what I wrote down. Leah, he's basically saying he doesn't want you. And I just feel like he needs to man up and straight up say it that he's not interested. He would look better. He would look better. And I think he would end up being a better person if he ended up just telling Leah that he wasn't interested instead of kind of giving these little droplets or like kind of breadcrumbing her into breaking up. So then we kind of get to the night. And first of all, Kaylor's baby doll dress is so cute. She looks absolutely adorable. I love that dress. I love that dress. I love that dress. It's so cute. Then they end up getting a text. So this is the recoupling. Okay. So now Nicole and Andrea get to pick which guys they want to couple up with. They all go to the fire pit. And then someone else ends up getting a text saying, all the guys that want to be considered to couple up with Nicole and Andrea, please stand up. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, first of all, Aaron doesn't get up. I'm like, good for you. So he does really like Kaylor, which I had a feeling he did, but he didn't get up. And then Kendall, Cordell, and Hakeem get up. I mean, they didn't say it was for Nicole, but we already know it's for Nicole. And then they have this little dramatic whatever. And Rob is so savage for this. Rob is so savage. He turns to Leah and says, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I literally, like, WTF, dude. WTF. It was so rude. And this is where I felt like he should have just told her I want to couple up with Andrea. And yes, you know what? Hey, I think he said that in so many other words, but I respect a man that's up front. Like, don't beat around the bush. I think Leah already knew too, but don't beat around the bush. Just say it straight up. This is what you want to do. And this whole then he's, oh God, that just grossed me out. Then he got up. He's sitting there with his smirk on his face. And this is the part where I'm like, I don't feel like he feels bad. I don't feel like he cares about Leah at all. The way he's smirking up there, it just felt really rude. It just felt so rude. And it's just diabolical. So Andrea obviously picks Rob. And Nicole picks Kendall. And I feel bad for Hannah, but honestly, you're better off, girl, because Kendall really wasn't there for you. He just wasn't. He just wasn't that into you. And that's okay. We're not there's plenty of men out there that will be interested in you. And I thought it was really weird that each person, when Andrea picked Rob and when Nicole picked Kendall, they both kissed them. And I'm like, guys, that just felt weird. I don't know if I've seen that before when they stole somebody from a couple and then kissed them right there in front of everybody. I felt like that was rude. Leah? That mouthing of a FU. Girl. And then Rob being like, Rob, you know she's hurt, okay? Rob is just rude. I'm not into him. I'm just not into him at all. I'm just not into him. He's rude. So that's, in a nutshell, that was episode 8. Okay. So now the couples that we have are Andrea and Rob, Nicole and Kendall, Kaylor and Aaron, Serena and Cordell. Who else? I think Hannah's by herself now. Liv and Hakeem, which I don't know how that's going to go since Hakeem stood up for Nicole. So, and I feel like Liv's going to be pissed. I think that's it. And Jana and Connor, which honestly, like, I feel like something's going to come up with that. I don't think Connor's that into Jana. I think he likes her, but I don't think he's that into her. I don't know if I even really like Jana's that into Connor, but like, we'll see. But yeah, I'm excited for the next. I mean, Love Island USA is giving. It's giving. There's so much drama. It's so much tea. I'm just like, it's tasty. So tasty. So tasty. So yeah. So if you liked this episode, please subscribe and please like. It really helps, and comment. You know, it really helps with the algorithm. I'm new to this and I'm just trying to get this stuff out here. I'm working on it. So yeah, so the next episodes that I'm gonna do is episode 9 and 10. I might combine them. We'll see. I'm just a little bit behind right now, but I'm gonna try to get that out as soon as possible. I'm also gonna be doing Love Island Brazil. And I'm gonna try to get that out as soon as possible. So we'll see. But yeah. I love these chats of ours. Love you, mean it.